Hi and welcome to Add More Zest. My name's Rebecca. Happy 15th of June, everybody. We are nearly halfway through. We'll be halfway through at the end of this section. Ooh, we've got different colours going on up here, which is always nice. Let me just scoot this number 27 over, so we've got a nice little section, and let's zoom you in, and then I can have a reshuffle of my canvas. There we go. Bring the laptop on the top so I can actually get to it. But yeah, there we go. Get to do the horn, which say has a couple of new colours that I've not actually used yet. I've not been paying attention to whether I've used a colour or not yet. But today I am working with a pen from Brianne and her boys. They handmade me a few pens. So this is the first one. Gorgeous turquoise, pinks and purples. And I decided to use my tray from this last year's advent calendar for this one. It actually suits really, really well, this pen, so I thought it was ideal. And we're going to start with the black, though then I think we're going to fill in the sky before we fill in the rest. And let's give our Highland cow a horn and the rest of his ear, and then we've also got a ladybug up there, which I forgot was up there. That's another benefit to sort of doing it in bits. You sort of forget what's there. That's why I like covering it up with cover paper as well. It's also got an element of surprise, as well as the primary reason, which is to stop me wandering with my diamonds and putting them in, scooting over to bigger sections and bigger sections all the time. Okay, so let's get back to some of these questions that Catherine has cobbled together for me. I don't quite know how she got them. I know she was Googling, but where she got them from, I'm not sure. She did actually type them all across, so I know they weren't definitely like all from the same source. But the next one is, do you like running your own business / being your own boss? Primarily, yes. It is definitely something I enjoy. I enjoy being able to decide sort of what my focus for the day is, or what it is that I need to do each day. I mean, sometimes, of course, that is determined by the business or by a delivery or by the fact that we've just had a launch and therefore we need to do stuff. So sometimes it is determined by that, but alternatively, but also it's, it just gives me that bit of freedom to kind of go by mood. There are definitely pluses and minuses to owning your own business, for sure. Sometimes the stress levels can be a bit higher than you would want them to be. But overall, yes, I love it. Oh, what subject would you want to know everything in it if you could? These are some good questions. They're reminding me a bit of some of Samantha's questions that really made me think. I think there's a few different things I would love to know everything about it if I could. So, of course, when it comes to hobbies, I would love to know everything and then be able to pick and choose and pull from that information as to what I need. Languages, as I think I mentioned before, that is something that I would love to be better at than I am. So I would love to know everything on that subject if I could. I feel like, yeah, that would be a good skill to have. I suppose language is a subject. It's a subject in school, though it's more specific to certain languages. So yeah, that would be a good one. Is there anything else that would be good to know everything about? My mind keeps thinking of things like subjects at school, like maths, and it's like, nah, wouldn't be that interested in knowing everything about that. Cooking, no, wouldn't be interested in knowing everything about that either. It's not something I enjoy doing. I don't enjoy languages, but that's more because I just have the inability to retain the information, to actually make use of it. More so, I can see the benefit from learning a language, whereas in everything that I do at the moment, I can't see the benefit in learning any extra maths. So anything else I'd love to know everything about? It probably is just down to hobbies, to be honest. Hobbies would be a good one. Know everything about probably quilting. I think I know, I don't know everything about diamond painting, but I definitely know a lot. I definitely have a lot more to learn when it comes to quilting. So on the basis of this question and dragging in as much information as I can, if this were of course a real thing, then I'd say quilting at this point in my life. Though I'm sure as I get to know that hobby more and learn more, then there'll be something else that I want to know everything about. Oh, what's on your bucket list? I don't know that I particularly have a bucket list of things. I am rather content in my own little world. I'm rather content in, my hobbies and things. I don't feel like I'm particularly looking for anything else. Yes, there'd be places that I'd like to visit, but not like this is my lifelong dream. I really need to visit here for definite. Because while it'd be nice to visit other places, and there's other places I'd love to go to, I also love being at home as well. So I've still got that. I'm just happy pottering and doing my thing. So I don't know that I particularly have anything on what you'd call a bucket list. I don't think I have one. Nothing that I can think of, apart from, it would be nice to visit here or it would be nice to visit there. But there's nothing that's like a lifelong dream. I suppose it's a bit like if I won the lottery question, like, is there something that it'd be then like, oh yeah, now I could go here, or now I could do this, and there isn't particularly something. Quite a simple creature in the grand scheme of things. And I'm just happy. I'd love to maybe have a cleaner. Have a clean house more often than not would be nice. But yeah, a lot of the time it's not filthy, it's just a mess. Especially when I get busy. It just needs a good tidy up, and homes found for things that don't have homes. It's the things that don't have homes that have more of a problem than the rest. But yeah, I'll get to that eventually. I'm sure. things that have a home tend to go away, or at least my storage that works, it tends to go away. It's the other stuff that doesn't. What's your earliest memory? I don't know. It definitely doesn't go back really, really early. Like, I've lived in a few different places during my childhood. We lived, I think when I was a baby, we lived in Bletchley. I don't particularly remember anything from there. We then lived in Luton. I do remember some things from Luton. I do remember swinging on the gate on our drive, and one of the lads from down the road, like all the kids used to sort of play together. We lived in a close, kicked a football, and it hit the gate that I was swinging on, and I banged my head and had to have butterfly stitches. I thought I was going to have real stitches. Was not impressed for that. Did not want that at all. But luckily I only had to have those little butterfly plasters. So that's probably one of my earliest memories. I do remember walking to school from that house as well. So we were on a close, but it did have a little... it did sort of, the close backed onto a main road. And my school was right at the bottom of that main road. It was a bit of a walk, or at least it felt like that for my little legs. So I do remember us going down that alleyway and walking to that school. I do remember one friend I had, one of my friends from that school, a young Indian girl. I cannot remember her name though. I did used to know her name. It was quite a few years ago though, because I went there until I think I was about 7 or 8 when we moved. So they're probably my earliest memories. Was that the garden? That might have also been the garden that we had. So we had like the garden, and then at the bottom of the garden there was like a little bit of like woodland trees, and then it backed, and then right at the back of the garden there was a fence, and there was a nursing home behind us. I think that was that house. There was a nursing home behind us, and we didn't have any sort of fence at the bottom of our garden apart from the hedges to the nursing home. But a couple of the neighbours did. So they'd actually put fencing or blockwork or bricks all the way round their gardens, and didn't just use the hedge as the border. So there was actually a little passageway that went down 2 or 3 houses, I think, until you got to the end. It may have only even been 2. Like, it wasn't loads of houses in this close. It may have only been 2 houses. But we could walk down that little gap between the 2 from our garden, because we didn't have additional fencing at the bottom. And then it opened up a little bit where the hedges for the old people's home sort of went round the corner. And that was our little den. So I remember that. But yeah, they're probably some of my earliest memories. So between the ages of 5 and 7. Probably some of the things I remember. Sorry, I got 2 diamonds stuck together then, and I tried to move them to put them in the bin and drop them on the diamond paint, and I couldn't see them for the life of me. So it just took me a minute to find them. When did you first feel like an adult? I don't know if I do. Is that something you're supposed to feel like an adult? There are definitely elements of it. Paying rent, paying the mortgage, having bills coming out of my account. Maybe that was one of the first times I felt adult-ish, but maybe imposter adult-ish. Yeah, probably being responsible for a child probably did it, really. But yeah, I don't know that the feeling of being an imposter adult ever truly goes away. I always think that there are people younger than me that are more of an adult than me. Maybe that's what it is. Or they definitely seem to act more adult-like. Or I feel that they portray more adult-like than I am. If that makes sense. And other people would probably agree with me if they knew the things that went through my head half the time. That I don't necessarily act on. But definitely those thoughts don't make me feel adult-like all the time. She did tell me that she's put little notes on some of these questions. So the next question is, what is the one thing you could not go a day without? And then she's put in brackets, don't say coffee, mum. Because that would be my first. I couldn't go a day without going to the toilet. Trying to think what else there is I couldn't go a day without. I could go a day without my phone if I needed to. I could do that. I don't think I could go a day without sleeping anymore. There used to be the odd time when the children were younger that I used to be able to pull what I call an all-nighter. Used to get all sorts done when I did that. It caught up with me after a couple of days. So that was probably like, get 3 days worth of productivity done because you're not going to be fit for much the next couple of days type thing. But yeah, I couldn't go without sleep anymore. I definitely need some form of sleep. What else is there? They're probably the main things that I could go a day without. So I have gone days without diamond painting or without crafting. Phone I could do if I needed to. Coffee I definitely couldn't. Sleep I definitely don't think I could. I mean, though, having said that, no, I probably do still catnap when I fly to Australia, though I don't really sleep on the plane at all. But I'd definitely say I still need sleep. Probably couldn't go a day without talking to myself. Does that count? Or talking to myself through Luna. That probably happens on a daily basis. I could go a day without getting dressed. I could have a PJ day, no problem at all. I don't tend to, because I do feel like I am more productive if I get up, get dressed, get at 'em. But that is something I probably could quite easily plan a day to not get dressed if there was a day I didn't have a lot to do. I think that about covers them. I think that about covers the different options as a potential for one day. What's the most ridiculous dream you've ever had? I do not remember my dreams at all. So I know Catherine does have ridiculous dreams. I don't remember mine. I think every now and then, and it's very, very rare, but I do remember a few months ago I was like, oh, I remember a dream. It was this, trying to keep it in my head. 5 minutes later, no, couldn't couldn't tell you at all what it was about. I do not remember my dreams at all, to the point that a lot of the time I don't think I even have them, because I just don't remember. Even first after waking up, I just don't remember dreams. And this one time that I did confused the heck out of me. And of course then I couldn't remember what it was about. But yeah, I don't remember dreams at all. So I've got no hope with that one. There's not even one I can remember that was weird, or even not weird, and years ago. As far as I know, when I finally fall asleep, that's it. I am out for the count until I wake up again, and then the day continues. And yeah, maybe if I remember dreams, that would help me feel as though sleeping wasn't a waste of time. Because it'd be like, oh, well, at least I had this dream. Rather than, where did that time go? It's just disappeared on me. And I did nothing productive in any way. Oh, what is your strangest irrational fear? Ooh, that is strangest irrational fear. See, I don't know whether it's irrational. It's always that something will happen to a member of the family. I definitely don't like heights. So maybe it's when I never used to be bothered by heights until I had kids. But my one irrational fear, it only sort of happens at the time. But I remember the kids were younger and or my sister was like, let's go to the fairground. It was before she moved to Australia. We went to a fairground that was close to us, like a nighttime-ish one or early evening. And we went on a Ferris wheel with the kids. She had a couple of children in with her. I had a couple of children in with me. I don't think it would have taken us all. And yeah, we're just sat in these little bubbles on a Ferris wheel, and I had visions of this falling off and bouncing down the motorway, which one is not likely to happen, and second probably wouldn't bounce down the motorway either. But yeah, because I could see the motorway from where we were. That was what was in my head, and that became the point of then, yeah, I'm not going on that again. That's probably my most irrational one, because yeah, it wouldn't have bounced and bobbed down the motorway like a big bouncy ball. A genie grants you the ability to have infinite amounts of one item. What is it? At the moment, oh, hang on. See, I could say fabric, but that would be like one item of fabric. So that probably wouldn't help. Maybe I'd have to go back to the electricity for that one. Infinite amounts of electricity, please. That makes me sound very adult-like, does it not? To have infinite amounts of electricity. I'd say coffee, but like even coffee, I like to vary that up in the flavours and things. So having different amounts of that, I think electricity would be an awesome thing to have infinitive amounts of. I don't think it would get old. I think that would continue to be a very good thing, no matter what my hobbies and interests are. It would be a good thing for many years. So yes, Mr. Genie, I will have electricity, please. In infinite amounts would be great. She then says, what is the most outrageous lie you told a child? She said she's side-eyeing me. I don't know that there's an outrageous lie that I particularly told them. I know there was definitely things when the kids were younger that I just didn't tell them. So in the UK, we have things called ice cream vans or ice cream trucks. Ice cream vans, and when it's sunny, or to be honest, even if it's not raining, then the ice cream van would play its music, park up the street, you could go out, buy an ice cream, get on with your day. And of course, kids love it when they hear the ice cream van and the music for the ice cream van. I just never told my kids what that music was. So maybe that's a lie by omission. But yeah, for years I just never told the kids what that music was. To them it could have been an ambulance siren as much as it was an ice cream van. It just got no reaction from me, nothing whatsoever. Wasn't interested in the fact that this music was playing outside. You know, could have been a neighbour's radio, like just completely ignored the fact. So that's probably one in a fact of lying by omission. But yeah, I just didn't tell them. Didn't tell them. Sorry, Luna's barking at something. Maybe there's a bird or a cat. I don't know, but she's with Catherine. So yeah, I can't think of any particular lies that I told them. Maybe averting their attention off one thing to another, but there's nothing that was particularly told porkies about, unless we count, of course, the standard porky that is told around every Christmas, Easter season, and when children lose a tooth. Then maybe those count. But then again, the one around the Christmas season, I've never admitted to telling either. As far as I am concerned, Santa is real, and I tell my children that to this day. It is never been spoken about apart from he's real. What are you talking about? Where do you think your presents come from? Next question, she's put, what is the best idea you've ever had for a business? And then she put, she had to. Probably the things that add more zest sell. The best idea for one, or the best, there's been a few that have been our staple very good sellers, that I'd probably classed as our best items if we're talking into specifics. So our trays, which was very much geared by Mr. 4Kids in relation to the 3D printer, though the design and how I wanted the tray to be was definitely me. He just made it happen. He made it come to life. So our trays have been some of our best sellers. Our logbook is some of our best seller. Our cover paper and our stickers and cardstock dividers. They're probably our staple items that have always been good. A lot of others are there as, you know, basics and you being able to pick up, more so than being like big sellers that move all the time. But you know, it's nice to have choices, isn't it? Oh, if you could choose a new name, which one would it be? Oh, that is a tough one. I don't know. I actually like my name. I don't particularly like it shortened, so I don't answer to Becky. That's not my name. That's somebody else's name, in my opinion. I was called Becky as a child, but I soon ditched that one. I don't mind Beck. Will's always called me Beck. I'm okay with that one. But I much prefer my full name. I don't know what would be a good name if it wasn't the one I had. See, I actually like my sister's name as well, but shortened. So she's Elizabeth, but she goes by Beth. I like the name Beth. Which is why it's Catherine's middle name. What name would I go for if I don't know. I say I do like my name. There's no other name that I sort of, you know, like sometimes when you're a child, you're like, oh, I'd rather be called this name, whether it be the name of your best friend or something like that when you're younger. But I don't think I'd want to choose a new name. Is Super Awesome a name? Oh Weird One, is that a name? Maybe I could be known as Oh Weird One. That would be good. We're all weird in this house. Weird is not an insult to anybody in this house. Anybody in this house who is called weird goes, yeah, no. We've definitely made that a non-insult in this house. So maybe Oh Weird One would be a good new name. What's the silliest thing you can imagine? Polka dot, bright polka dot what? I don't know, polka dot something. Polka dot elephant, maybe. I'm not very imaginative when it comes to that. In relation to ideas, sometimes I can have absolutely great ideas. If I try to think of an idea, they are rubbish. Ideas that I have that work out, like, you know, the design of the tray or things like that, aren't from thinking about them. They pop into my head, and they don't pop into my head often. Like, it's not like I constantly have, you know, what I consider to be great ideas all the time. I have them on occasion, but if I try to think of them, then I can't come up with them. Don't know if that works that way for anybody else. It's like you've got pressure to come up with it, so I can't come up with it. Whereas, yeah, if it just happens naturally in the course of living my life or diamond painting or, you know, thinking, oh, this would be good, and then actually looking into whether it can happen and putting it into practice, I can do that. But yeah, I'm not very good at coming up with ideas on the spot. So a polka dot elephant is one of the silliest things I can imagine at the moment. And I'm thinking of him having different size spots in lots and lots of different colours, bright colours rather than pastel colours. And that is how I am envisioning my polka dot elephant. Other than that, I can find it very hard to imagine things. So even when I'm listening to a book and it's giving me, you know, descriptions of the scenery and stuff, I will get it wrong. They'll mention something else and it'll be like, oh, okay, I'm thinking of it being on the right hand side, not the left hand side, because my brain doesn't imagine them in the same way that maybe writers are wanting you to. So yeah, I don't have an imagination in that sense. Anyway, we are now officially halfway through Day 15 has been done, and we definitely have some joined up sections now. Where's 16? Oh, down here. So we get to join up down here and really start to see this picture start to pop more and more now as each day goes on, which is still exciting, even if June is going so fast. But anyway, thank you so much for joining me for today, and I'll speak to you all again tomorrow.